Today guys, we're going to go over all the latest information about the upcoming update and Bye Bye Night. Recently, there's been a lot of news, discussions, and theories around it, so it makes sense to put everything together and explain in simple terms what's actually going on and what we should expect in the next update. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff today, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's start with the fact that this game is gradually developing and the developers are trying to regularly add new content. Right now, the game already has several characters, each with their own unique abilities. However, most players are currently focused on who will be added next. Based on the information that has already been confirmed by the developers, a new character is definitely coming in the future. This time, it will be a new killer named Puppet. Pretty interesting. There's also information suggesting that other characters like Weird Foxy, Mango, and Nightmare Freddy might appear later. It's important to understand that they most likely won't be added all at once. They'll probably be released one by one in separate updates. That makes sense, since it gives players time to learn each character. Of course, it's still possible that they could release everything at once, but that would be a massive update, and probably too overwhelming. Still, anything's possible. Let me know what you think. Will they release them all together or separately? Judging by the discussions and hints, the first character from this list will most likely be Puppet. It's one of the most recognizable characters from Five Nights at Freddy, so it's no surprise that players are excited to see it. If we talk about the possible order, it looks something like this. First Puppet, then Weird Foxy, after that Mango, and finally Nightmare Freddy. Interestingly, Nightmare Freddy is one of the most requested characters according to community polls. The developers are actively interacting with players through Discord. They run polls to understand what changes or characters the community wants the most. For example, in one poll about future killers, Nightmare Freddy received the most votes. This shows that the developers are actually listening to their audience. Besides the new characters, there are also discussions about balance changes. Some players believe that certain survivors are currently too weak, in particular the guard with the teaser. While he has a useful ability with cameras, his defense is still lacking, so it's likely he might get a buff in the future. Now let's get back to Puppet, since most of the attention is focused on this character. Puppet has a backstory connected to a girl named Charlie. Without going too deep into details, it was originally created as a protector but failed to fulfill its role due to certain events. In the game itself, there are already hints about its appearance. For example, in one of the maps, you can find drawings and writings that clearly reference this character. These small details are intentionally added by the developers to build hype. There is also an official teaser that recently appeared. It confirms that the character is already in development, and its release is only a matter of time. Usually, teasers like these are released shortly before the update, so it's safe to assume we don't have to wait long. If we try to estimate the release window, the most likely scenario is within the next couple of weeks, possibly in 1 or 2 weeks. There is no exact date yet, since plans can always change, but everything points to a pretty soon release. Now let's talk about Puppet's abilities. There's no official information yet, but players are already coming up with ideas, and some of them are pretty interesting. For example, people are suggesting that Puppet might have a smoother and more unusual movements compared to other characters, making it visually stand out. There are also ideas that it could use small puppets or additional objects during attacks. Some players think its attacks could be non-standard, possibly involving multiple limbs or unique mechanics. There are also discussions about a special victory animation. However, it's important to remember that all of this is just a speculation. The developers might do something completely different. As for the price, many believe that Puppet will be quite expensive in terms of in-game currency. That would make sense, since popular characters are usually priced higher, especially considering the hype. Overall, the developers are clearly trying to make the game more diverse. They're adding new characters, introducing mechanics, and gradually improving balance. Right now, Bye Bye Night is an active development stage. That means there are still many updates, changes, and new features ahead. For players, that's a great sign because the game isn't standing still. Another important point is that the developers are maintaining strong communication with the community. This helps them understand what players actually want and what direction the game should take. If you were a developer, what would you add to the game? maybe a new enemy or a new map? Let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to read your ideas. To sum everything up, the situation with bitebynight update is quite clear right now. The game was released on March 28 and it's been about a week since launch. During this time, the developers have clearly managed to attract attention and start building hype for future content. Based on the number of hints, teasers, and Discord activity, it's clear that they are not planning to delay the update. In games like this, the first update usually comes out very quickly after release to keep the players engaged. If we look at it logically, there are a few possible timeframes. The earliest release could happen in the next few days, but a more realistic estimate would be around 1 to 2 weeks after launch. The absolute latest would be within 2 or 3 weeks. Personally, it feels like it will either drop this week or next week. So counting from March 28, the most likely release window is the first or second week of April. Also keep in mind that developers have already started posting teasers. This is usually done shortly before an update, not a month in advance, another strong sign that the wait won't be long. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your theories in the comments. What do you think will be included in the next update? See you in the next video. Bye bye.